Okay, so I actually got cut off trying to finish recording this video. So we're going to have to do our application problems in another video. It's so much fun. Okay. Sorry about this, but I'm literally, just getting cut off with this camera. Okay, so let's finish off with the two application problems. And we have a pendulum. That is, maybe I should pull one up on my phone so you can see a picture, and then I'm going to draw one. Oops. Here it is. So it's tied to something with a string and it moves around. See? It swings, does its little thing. So we have a 16-inch pendulum which swings through an angle of 40 degrees. How far does the tip of the pendulum travel in a single swing? So imagine this is the pendulum. It's tied to a string and it swings back and forth. So just swings. The pendulum itself is 16 inches. And we need to see, and it swings through an angle of 40 degrees, so that major hint here, 40 degrees, degrees, arc measure. How far does the tip of the pendulum travel in a single swing? So we need to see in one swing. We need the arc length. This is the radius, because imagine there being like a whole circle here. So this is just half of it. So we know our radius is 16 inches. We know the measure of the arc is 40 degrees. So we actually have all of our information. So the arc length, because it wants to know what the distance is going to be 40, that's the measure of the arc, times 2 pi times the radius, which is 16, oh my goodness, I am so sorry, divided by 360. And if you are able to put that in your calculator correctly, you get 11.17 inches. That's this guy right here. Here's a tip. If we're talking about like arc length, arc measure, radius, diameter, circumference, like you're talking about a circle, so try to imagine the circle. And then use what's given to you as like hints. Like if you're given something in degrees, it's probably the measure of the arc. If you're given something in inches or centimeters or meters or some unit of measure that describes length, then you're probably talking about the radius or the arc length, so you have to think about that a little bit. So let's try number 12. I'm so scared it's gonna freeze on me again. Okay, a car entered a roundabout from Mason Avenue. So a roundabout is literally a circle you drive around. It's meant to slow cars down. So there's the roundabout. And a car enters from Mason Avenue. I don't know, I will call this Mason Avenue. Traveled 280 feet. So 280 feet is definitely 3/4 of a circle is 270. So here's 90 degrees, 180, 270. About here. It traveled all along this way, kept traveling. And it traveled until it got to Perry Street. And the roundabout has a diameter of 150 feet. And we need to find the angle of rotation to the nearest degree the car traveled, which, because we're talking about degree and an angle, we must need to find the arc measure. It actually looks like we have the arc length, because if you could see from our picture, it's going around the circle. In a roundabout, you travel around the circle, and it's giving us a unit to measure distance. So that must mean that the arc length is actually 280 feet. So we're going to use this formula. Remember, length equals the arc measure times the circumference all over 360. We're going to use that, but guess what? We already know the arc length. So our arc length is 280. We're going to set that equal to the arc measure, which we don't know, so there's where our x is going to go this time, times the circumference. So since we have the diameter is 150 feet, it's pi times the diameter divided by 360, and you're going to solve for x. And in order to solve for x, I'm going to get rid of that divide 360. I'm going to multiply both sides by 360. I'm going to get 100,800. Uh-oh, I did not give myself enough room. Where am I going? 100,800 is equal to 150 pi times x, and I'm going to divide both sides by 150 pi. And if I do that, I should get about 2,111. It says to the nearest degree, so no decimal places. So about 2,111 degrees. Okay, I actually had to pause because this didn't make any sense to me, and then I realized I did not use parentheses in my calculator. 100,800 divided by 150 pi, quantity 150 pi, means I actually get about 214. 2,111 degrees is a lot of degrees. Does not make sense. 214 degrees. Just remember, if you do this in your calculator without parentheses, this is what's going to happen. Okay. Your calculator is going to, I'm going to put this in like I did before. Your calculator is actually going to work from left to right with order of operations because you actually have division here and multiplication. So what happens is you end up dividing, your calculator ends up dividing first and then multiplying your answer by pi. But you don't want that. You want the 100,800 to be divided by all 150 pi, not just 150. So you have to use parentheses or you will get the wrong answer. It has been a long morning. I hope you all have a better week doing this than I do because my document camera does not like me today. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me. This is going to be your homework, and it is only one page. And I'm actually going to have you do it on Edpuzzle. So you're going to have 2 Edpuzzles. You're going to have the video with the notes, and then you're going to have the homework on Edpuzzle too. Okay, have a good week.